So afterwards, David Wells got rings made up for everybody on the team, the clubhouse staff, all that. The little diamond ring, this with the perfect game on it. Little ceremony in the clubhouse, gave them to everybody. I didn't get one. And I'm sitting over there in the corner, I'm there for one guy. I was a translator for Hideki Arabu, and it's fine, but I couldn't help but feeling a little down, about it. I was like, felt a little left out. Even though I have a few World Series rings, I still felt left out, So I'm back in the players' lounge. We're off on the side, right? And I'm just sitting there. I didn't say anything to anybody. I just went to get a Coke or something. And he comes over, and he goes, George Rose, he should have given you one of those rings too. But that was like, I can't tell you, it just made me feel like so good because I'm like, man, this guy, he noticed me, I mean, we were friends, but like, he noticed that maybe I was felt left out, maybe a little uncomfortable about something, but that's the kind of guy Darryl is. He is outgoing, works for others, he's selfless, does a lot of things for other people, but that just gives you a little personal insight into the kind of man he is. So let's introduce Darryl Strawberry.
All right, George. I did. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, George. Thank you, Ron, Doc, Bobby Valentine for being here. It is indeed an honor to be here and speak for a true friend who I always loved. When he was a part of the Yankee organization, he was family. And that's the most important thing that I always looked at. I'm just here to share with you guys. First, I'd like to say congratulations to all the great work that you guys are doing, to help men and to help men get sober and to help men change their lives. It's a miracle in a miracle when a life is changed. And I stand here today because it's a miracle in who I am because my life has been changed. Through my struggles and through my trials and through my tribulations and ups and downs of life and not quitting and not giving up and surviving. And that's the only reason I stand here today. And when I share my story, I share a little bit about who I am because most of you don't really know who I am. You just know what I did. And I played baseball. See, as a young man growing up in Southern California, my dad was a raging alcoholic when I was a young man, and he beat the crap out of me when I was 13, 14 years old, and he told me I'll never amount to nothing, I'll never be nothing. And I always believed that, so it just tells you how powerful addiction is. It starts in the genetics of a family, and it destroys families. And for myself and my brother Ronnie, we both ended up in addiction, in the cycle of addiction. But when I was a young man, when I was 13, after my dad came home drunk one night, and he was arguing with my mom, and he was, making a lot of noise, and we woke up, my three brothers and me, my brother Mike and Ronnie and me, and we woke up, and my older brother Mike, he was 16 at the time, and he just told my dad, why don't you just get out of here and leave us alone? And my dad pulled out a shotgun. My mom had, we didn't know at the time, but my mom had, put the bullet somewhere, but he had pulled out a shotgun. He says, I'll kill all you guys. And my brother Ronnie went in the kitchen and grabbed a knife, and I went in the kitchen and grabbed a skillet, and we were going to kill my dad. My mom got us out of the house, and that was the end of that. My dad was a raging alcoholic. It never stopped. He was a very sick man. There could have been a tragedy right there in my life because me and Ronnie was dead serious about killing my dad at the age of 14, 15 years old. There wouldn't have never been a Darryl Strawberry, had we acted on that. But we were devastated, due to the fact of all the abuse and the physical abuse and the mental abuse that he brought home night after night as an alcoholic. So that's when I ended up, after he left the house, we were free. But that's when I ended up getting my first drink. of alcohol at the age of 14, and I loved it because I had something missing inside of me. I was hurt. I was wounded. I had all these issues inside of me as a young man because there was no love from my dad. You know, my mom always gave us tremendous love, but we had no love from our dad. So I was already scarred at the age of 14, you know, and I tried my first drink, and I loved it. It was unbelievable. You know, I wanted to escape from what he had done to me, what he had said about me. See, we don't know the scars that are left, you know, from drinking. You know, as a young kid, you don't know the scars that are left from a dad that's an alcoholic that's coming home, pays you no attention, gives you no love, tells you nothing. Any little thing you do, he beats the crap out of you. And then he tells you you're nothing. So we don't know how that's going to affect the kid. So that's what happened to me. And I went on this whole journey of starting. I picked up, and I started drinking, and I started smoking marijuana at such a young age. And a lot of people don't know my story. They just know the success. You know, they don't know that I got kicked out of 5 junior high schools because of behavior, you know, because of, you know, at such a young age I had already started. I was active already. My disease was active already. I had no idea. I had no idea how far this disease would take me. And it took me on a real journey. But as a young man, I had all kinds of issues and problems in junior high school, getting kicked out, drinking, smoking marijuana at the age of 14. I had already started. Kicked out of junior high school. The principal just told my mom, he can't come back to school. I remember, I got to tell, I always tell this one in my story because it's who I was, and when I was lost, I was hurting, I was missing a lot of things that a young man needed, the love and care that he needed from a father. So I didn't get that. So I remember one day we were walking to school, and we walked to school all the time, and we were smoking marijuana, and I was high as a kite, and I didn't want to go to first period. So I go into the bathroom, you know, right across my first period was right across. How I go in the bathroom, and then I go up in the ceiling and pull the cotton out, and I light the bathroom on fire so we can have a fire drill. So I have to go to class. See, a lot of people don't know that's how disturbed I was, you know, but we think, you know, when I look back on it, I think, wow, that was pretty crazy, you know, that was pretty out there, and they finally kicked me out of junior high, and, you know, I had so much trouble, and they said, he can't graduate, we're just going to graduate him, he can't come to graduation. So, and I went on to high school, and then first year in high school, there was still struggles. See, there was so many struggles inside of me because, you know, I didn't feel loved. You know, I didn't feel love. I didn't feel like I had a father. I didn't have a male figure around to, you know, give me some type of guidance, you know, of what life's supposed to be about and, you know, who you are and what you're supposed to do. I didn't feel that. So I went on to high school to move to the next level after my first year of high school. And then my next year of high school, I got myself together and I got into sports. You know, I was very serious about sports, and, you know, sports became my life, and I really put all my energy and focus into that. I played baseball, basketball, football, and I was good in every sport. And, you know, as a junior, I did well. Senior, drafted, we know all that. Then I ended up getting drafted by the Mets and becoming, you know, a professional athlete. But along those lines, it was always, throughout that whole period, I think, of being drafted, and a lot of times people don't know, you know, even in the minor leagues, when I was in my minor leagues with the Mets, my second year in the minor leagues, I was this close to quitting. I was this close to quitting. This close. Lynchburg. I was that close to quitting. There I was, a kid from LA, playing in towns that I hated. Lynchburg, Virginia. Kingsport, Tennessee first. Lynchburg, Virginia. Being called every name in the book because I was a bonus baby and signed for a lot of money. I was that close to quitting. So I started drinking, and I started drugging, smoking lots of marijuana and 8-ball, and I told the Mets I was done with baseball. They asked me, can you give it one more year? That's what they asked me. Can you give it one more year? Just give it one more year. Came back the next year, and I won the Texas League MVP. And then I went on to the next level, AAA. The next year follow after that, stayed in AAA a month, and I was in the big leagues. You know, Bobby Valentine was my coach. Got to the big leagues at 21. Didn't know anything about it. First road trip. And I say it clearly. First road trip with the team. I'd never tell anybody who the player was. Told me going back in the bathroom, something back there for you. Welcome to the big leagues. I went back there. It was cocaine. That's how I was introduced to the big leagues. Welcome to the big leagues. That was my start of who I was and what I was introduced to. But I'm not blaming anyone because I was already active, alcoholic, and I didn't get introduced to the drugs until I got to the big leagues. And when I tried cocaine, I loved it. There was another feeling. There was another feeling of something filling that empty hole in me because I had a lot of empty holes in me. And I was insecure, had a low self-esteem, you know, and had to deal with all that. So I went on a journey. I went on a journey for a very long time of being active, you know, in addiction and my lifestyle of living. And the more I got successful, the more I didn't know how to live. The more I got successful, the more I didn't know how to live. Because it was a lifestyle of partying, women, drugs, lifestyle of no rest, never got any rest. You know, my addiction kicked in even more. You know, I destroy families, wives, children, you know, went through them like a tornado. Because you know what? When you become so addicted to your lifestyle and addicted to alcohol and addicted to drugs, it was all about me. It wasn't about anyone else. It wasn't about who I was hurting. It was about me. I need to fix me. I need to fix me. It's about me. I was selfish, self-centered, had an ego. I was an egomaniac that I'm going to do what I want to do. And that's what I did. And it cost me dearly in my life. But the struggle of what I had to go through was my journey. Do I wish it on anybody else? No. It's real. You know, but it was my journey that I had to go through. You know, it was because I wasn't really ready to accept responsibility for my life. And most of the time, an alcoholic or addict will not accept responsibility because it's all about him. It's not about anybody else. And that's what it was for me. It wasn't about anybody else. It was always about me, what I wanted, how I wanted. You know, I'm a recovering alcoholic. I'm an addict. And it's a very powerful thing to say. You know, I never, you know, knew the depths of addiction until I saw my life come crumbling down. And I kept going. And the reason why I kept going, because I wasn't ready to surrender. I wasn't ready to take the steps that I needed to take. You know, when you guys sit here tonight and you think about, I was listening to the auction and the money's being raised. The money's being raised for a program that's changing lives. You know, guys that are living in that house, they wouldn't have the opportunities I had. I had the opportunities to go to some of the best places in the world. Betty Ford, Hanley Hazleton, still didn't work because I wasn't ready. Something that you have to be ready for to change your life and to change everything about your thinking. You know, because a lot of people say, well, you had everything. Well, I didn't have it. You know what? That's what people always say, well, you had everything. I just had a bunch of money and a bunch of stuff. but I didn't have me. I didn't have the freedom that I have today. I didn't have the gift that I have today. See, I got the greatest gift today now because I'm free. You know, I don't need money or fame or fortune to make me who I am. You know, I'm not waking up anymore with any headaches. I'm not waking up anymore with any regrets. I'm not waking up anymore and looking over there and saying, who the hell is this I'm sleeping with? I don't have to wake up to that anymore. I don't have to wake up to that insanity anymore because it's real. I don't have to wake up and say I'm cheating on my wife. I don't have to do that anymore. See, in my lifestyle, that's what it was. When I speak real about it because that's what addiction is all about. You know, addiction is about, you know, for a person to get to the place where he needs to get, he's got to get honest with himself. He ain't got to get honest with nobody else. I can't, you know, my problem is I can't fix nobody else. I can only fix myself. You know, and that's the whole thing that I had to learn. I couldn't fix all the problems around me. I had to fix me. You know, and once I fixed me, then I will be able to get to the place that I needed to get to in my life. And recovery has done miracles for me. Has done wonderful things for me. You talk about 7 years ago when I was still active and I was still using and I was stripped from everything. I didn't have nothing. I was stripped from everything. This is how powerful addiction is. And some of us has to lose everything, and some of us has to lose our life. Some has to lose everything before you can even get it or get to the next place. I had to lose everything. It was the greatest gift that ever happened to me was losing everything because I found life. I found the real life. Because when I was at the bottom, nobody was there. And that's when I found myself. And that's when I found my higher power, who is God, who transformed me and who delivered me. But it was work that I had to do on the inside. It was, you know, most of us that are suffering through addiction, we got inner issues, something deep is going on inside that I needed to find out about me. And when I found out the deep depths of things about me, guess what? I didn't like it. I didn't like that I was a cheater. I didn't like that I hurt people. I didn't like, just like my father beat me, I never touched my kids because I was left with wounds. I was scarred. But I never touched my kids. But I didn't like what I did to my kids. But I did it, and I was able to do what was necessary to get me to the next place, to get me to the person that I am today, happy, joyous, and free. You know, after 7 years of living in St. Louis, I moved to St. Louis with nothing and started from the ground up with my wife, Tracy. Me and Tracy met in Narcotics Anonymous at a convention. She's got 11 years clean, and I got 7. And it's, but when I look back over my life and when I looked at that video and looked at Ron and looked at, he was saying, why give him another chance? Why? That could be someone in your family that's suffering, that just need to be encouraged. If you don't quit, if you don't give up, there's a miracle in the end of it. I'm here to tell somebody that tonight, whoever knows somebody that's struggling, because I'm a prime example of don't quit. Had I quit when I was in baseball with the Mets, I wouldn't have never been standing up here saying I was Darryl Strawberry that achieved the great things I achieved playing baseball. Had I quit. If I'd have quit in life, if I'd have quit, not keep trying, I wouldn't be standing here today had I quit. The miracle is in not quitting. You know, and I learned that through recovery. You know, I learned the power that's great in me have the strength to take me to a greater place. But a person has to be able to find that within himself to be able to get to this greater place. And I was able to do that. And and when I was thinking about, like I said, I was thinking about that video, and he's talking about you just give up. Why give up? You know, just give up on him. You don't give up on nobody. You know, because you don't want anyone to give up on you. You know, and that's what I've learned. I've learned that through, you know, my journey. I learned that through losing everything. I learned that through making millions of dollars and, you know, having a lot of fame and fortune, and realized that the fame and fortune is not important. I realized what's important today. I realized the gift that I have in life, you know, because there were always some close calls in life for me through my addiction and through my sickness. There was always some close calls. You know, I shouldn't be standing here today. I should be dead. You know, there were many times that, you know I should have OD'd. You know, there were many times that I just couldn't help myself, but God was doing for me what I couldn't do for myself. You know, there was the great 8-time All-Star, the great 4-time World Series champ, Darryls T17169, ended up in the Florida State Prison because of addiction. That's how powerful it is. That's how real it is. I didn't kill nobody because I'm an alcoholic too. I didn't kill nobody drunk driving. There were many times I should have killed myself. Many times I should have killed somebody else. But today I don't have to worry about that. Today I understand what it is in my life to do the next right things. I'm always grateful for people like George and Ron who have been in my life, and they are real brothers. They are someone that never judged. They are someone that's always hoped that you get it, and that's the same thing we hope for every person that's suffering through addiction, alcoholism. We hope they get it because there's some freedom in it. There's some real freedom in it of being free. And you don't know that until you get on the other side of the journey. I didn't know that until I got on the other side of the journey. You know, everything that I lost when I ended up with nothing. See, because addiction and alcoholism is going to take everything. It's going to take the family. It's going to take the house. It's going to take the car. It's going to take the business. It's going to take everything. Because we're going to destroy everything. Because that's what we do when we drink and drug. It takes everything. And today I don't have to live like that. Today my wife knows I'm safe and she's safe. She doesn't have to worry about me jumping into bed with somebody else's woman. And that's the gift and the miracle of what recovery has given to me, because I have principles. It's principles before personality. That's what this program has taught me. It's my principles before my personality, because if my personality get in the way, then I'm in trouble. But if I stay to the principles of this way of living, I don't have to worry about getting in trouble. And I'm truly grateful for what has happened on my journey, from losing everything to being restored back to everything. That's what the journey of recovery has given me. It's given me my life. It's given me my true identity of who I am. I'm not hitting home runs anymore. I'm not winning championships anymore. But I have the true gift, the true purpose in life to help someone else that's still suffering and sick, to be able to walk them down this journey and tell them, don't quit, don't quit, don't quit, don't quit, don't give up, keep trying, pick yourself back up, dust yourself off. I had to do it so many times. I had to pick myself back up and dust myself off. And everything that I lost was restored back to me. You know, the house came back. The car came back. You know, the lifestyle of helping others came into play. Being a servant and helping others, helping the next man that's sick and suffering, or helping children. I have a foundation for children with autism. I've built a restaurant business. You know, I have a home, I have a place in Manhattan, live in Manhattan. Never wanted to live in Manhattan. Never lived in Manhattan my whole life playing here. Imagine that. Now living in Manhattan. I was sitting there looking at the clock and looking at the auction, and I'm saying to myself, boy, they're going pretty long. I was telling Ron, I said, they're going pretty long. It's my bedtime because I'm usually on the couch in the house at 9 o'clock. You know, because that's the way I live today. You know, unless I have to do something, be out at an event. But, you know, I have real principles and real boundaries in my life, you know, about people, places, and the things that I don't want to do and the things that I do, you know. And, you know, to always be grateful for all the opportunities and all the people that cared about me in this town, all the fans. I'll never forget the boss. You know, I'll never, ever, 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 ever will forget the boss of the Yankees. What he did for me. He treated me like I was his son. That's one man I'll never forget. He treated me like I was his own son. And I remember having times with him where I sat, and when I got in trouble again, and I failed a drug test after having chemo and relapsed, and him bringing me in his office and just sitting there and just talking to me and just telling me, you know, I mean, he could have let me go. There's a lot of money on the table for me, but he didn't. He says, I love you, and I'm going to take care of you and your family. That's what he told me. And he just said, I hope you just get it right. And I'll never forget those conversations of having with him, because he cared about people. He cared about people getting well. And when you see someone like that, it rubs off on you. And I always remember, that's why I always go back and help somebody else, because I learned that from the boss. He taught me that. Always go back and help somebody else, because somebody else is going to need help. And I will always be grateful for that. And as I close with this saying, when I look back over my life and I think about what is really important, was it the Grand Slams? Was it the championships? Was it all the great things I was able to accomplish? No. My greatest gift I ever gave to myself was not picking up one day at a time and staying on the real journey of life and enjoying life as life is supposed to be for me. I can't speak for anyone else. I can only speak for this addict and this junkie. Because, see, I know if I pick up, I might not never make it back. But just for the day, I'm okay. Just for these 24 hours, just for sitting here at this place here tonight, I'm okay. And when I leave here, you know, I stay with real principles, I'm okay. Because I no longer run to those places I used to run to fulfill me, all the different things, you know, that I felt like needed to be fulfilled with. I don't have that empty void inside of me. I don't need strippers. I don't need strip clubs. I don't need none of it. I like what I do today. I like who I am. And I like it that just one day at a time has given me life, and I'm free. Thank you so much, and God bless you all.
Standing ovation. And he didn't even hardly talk about baseball at all.
I don't like baseball no more.
Me neither. Darryl is going to be able to answer a few questions. So if anybody has some questions. Last year we had Brian Cashman here, and the person who raised her hand and asked the first question was my mother.